The 2023 film Nimona was an interesting take on the graphic novel of the same name that addressed a lot of difficult topics in a nuanced way. Of particular interest to me was how mental health was portrayed. So let's take a look at the character Nimona, what she may have been struggling with mentally, and how well this was portrayed in the film. I'll be focusing purely on the film, as there are various differences between the original graphic novel that would lead us to potentially different assessments. Nimona is a being that is at least 1,000 years old, with the ability to shapeshift into other animals. She doesn't appear to have any family, and it's unclear whether there are any others like Nimona in this world. It's clear from the beginning that Nimona is seeking companionship and acceptance by trying to take the form of other animals around her, but is repeatedly rejected. In this case, Nimona appears to be relatively self-sufficient in terms of her physical needs such as food and shelter, though perhaps she doesn't actually require any of those things. However, she clearly still has emotional needs which are yet to be fulfilled, and these are often considered to be just as important for someone's well-being and development. In psychiatry, there is a concept of attachment which relates to the bond between an individual and their caregiver. It is theorized that disruption to this relationship can lead to children developing maladaptive strategies or suffering mentally both at an early age and when they're older. For those who have a caregiver that responds to their cries or needs in a timely and reasonable manner, develop what we call secure attachment. However, for those who may not have a caregiver or one who exposes the person to trauma or abuse, they can often develop what we call disorganized attachment. People with disorganized attachment can find relationships in the world quite frightening and unsafe based on their earlier experiences. Whilst they usually continue to seek relationships, they can often have difficulty managing their own emotions or using what we might call maladaptive behaviors as ways to protect themselves from further harm. An example of this could be lashing out at others to avoid getting close with them and subsequently exposing yourself to the potential of betrayal or rejection. However, this could in turn lead to further emotional pain, as you might find yourself isolated without anyone else to support you. Luckily, Nimona meets a young human girl named Glorith who she clearly bonds well with, and with whom she feels comfortable enough to open up to and reveal her true self. However, this soon takes a turn for the worst, as others do not take so kindly to Nimona's abilities, and she is subsequently threatened, hurt, betrayed, and abandoned once again. Whilst we are initially introduced to Nimona as a young-looking human with special abilities who appears cavalier towards others' feelings and well-being, it soon becomes evident that she is struggling with a whole host of emotions and thoughts, which are undoubtedly in part attributable to the trauma that she has experienced in her earlier years. This includes low self-esteem, feelings of hopelessness, flashbacks, and of course suicidal ideation. Based on the behaviours shown in the film, Nimona would definitely meet criteria for PTSD, having experienced a number of traumatic events, ongoing flashbacks, and dissociative episodes, as well as negative self-perceptions and self-destructive behaviours. We could formulate Nimona's situation in the following way. Nimona is a being of unknown age, presenting with symptoms suggestive of PTSD, characterized by flashbacks, dissociative episodes, emotional dysregulation, and suicidal ideation. This appears to have been precipitated by trauma and isolation during their earlier years, resulting in a disorganized attachment style and maladaptive coping strategies. Her distress continues to be perpetuated by a desire to escape the trappings of society's rules and norms, which unfortunately has led to further isolation and rejection. However, Nimona's ongoing desire to seek meaningful connection, their abilities and independence, remain strong protective factors going forward. Fortunately, Nimona has been able to establish a seemingly stable and supportive relationship, which is a positive step towards addressing their past traumas and rebuilding trust in others. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today's session, but please feel free to comment any other characters you'd like me to take a look at or analyze.